All right, perfect. So welcome back to another episode 13 of Beyond the Game. Your boy Liam Tuminello, Zilla Moore, Don Moore, if you know me. We got a special one today, man. Big one. Obviously, Super Bowl talk. We're going to get into that. First and foremost, as you can see in the screen, we got arguably, this guy just said he's, 13 isn't lucky for him, but it's all right. We got Mr. Tim Boyle. Right? Happy to have you on, man. Happy to
be here, guys. I can't wait to talk ball with you guys. Talk a little shop, talk some Super Bowl, talk some ball, and just hang with the boys.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
So happy to have you on again. First repeat guest, so let's go. Love to see it.
I'm honored. Liam, we go way back, man. I appreciate you always wanting me on your show. You guys are in a tight ship, and I'm looking forward to kicking it with you guys.
Thank you. Now, first of all, how has it been the last couple of months being an uncle?
Oh, being an uncle's been fantastic, man. It's my older sister and I are super close. We're 17 months apart, so just being able to see her become a mom has been so special. She's been one of my best friends my whole life, and her husband Stu has been, Liam, Stu. He's a class act. He's been a tremendous father the first couple of months. But man, having a baby in the family, it's spoiled first and foremost, first baby obviously, but it's brought us so much closer together, man. Just rallying around Amanda and Stu and little baby Charlie, and just making sure they have all the support and help they need. It's really brought our family closer together. So it's been really cool being an uncle, man. It's being the fun uncle has been fun. I'm waiting for him to have a personality so I can start messing with him a little bit and having some fun with him. But right now he's just eating, sleeping, and pooping, as most babies do. So it's been a good couple months, and I'm excited for him to start, getting those little baby smiles under his belt so we can start, having some fun with him.
Dominic here. We'll find out about that sooner enough.
Man, yeah.
Yeah?
We got one on the way.
Congratulations. You guys know boy or girl?
It's a boy. I'm not going to lie, Liam. We're projecting the next 72 hours, man.
Really?
He's on his way out. It's been this past week has been kind of a roller coaster, bro. So it's been, like I said, the expected due date was March 4th, but he's ready for the world. So, like I said, I'm projecting another 72 hours. Wifey, she's, ready to pop whenever. So, yeah, man, it's probably sooner than we expect. Man. So, yeah, man, it's going to be exciting.
Being a dad, enjoy it, man. Especially that moment, I feel like. That being at the hospital while my sister was giving labor, I wasn't in the room, but I was, there. And man, it's just Stu told me it was a special thing, man. Are you planning on being in the room?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay, good, man. Hey, make sure you're down there. Take it in. It's the miracle, man. It's the craziest miracle ever.
We'll do, man. We'll do.
Absolutely. Congratulations, man. I didn't know that.
Bro, appreciate you.
And now, also, Tim, how has it been the last several months being, for the first time in your life, being like a free agent for the majority of the season?
I'll be very blunt with you. I'll be very blunt with you guys. It's been weird. I got cut, middle of training camp from the Tennessee Titans, and was kind of hoping and kind of expecting a phone call. I've been in the league for 7 years. I'm like, all right, I've made a name enough for myself. I played some ball. Hopefully, a team was going to sign me. So it was just this weird cycle of every week. Most teams make their roster decisions on Mondays and Tuesdays. So every Monday and Tuesday, what felt like for the past, 3 months, was me by my phone, talking to my agent, seeing if anything was cooking, and nothing happened. And, just being very blunt with you guys, it was weird, man. It's, I haven't done really anything else in my life other than play ball. So it was weird to have a fall season off. I was able to go to a fair that I haven't been to in 15 years. I was able to go pumpkin picking, like random things that I didn't have time to do because of football. I was able to enjoy this past fall. So, they're kind of two sides of that coin, right? I was able to take some time off and be around my family and friends and do some things I haven't done in, like I said, 15 years since college, really. But man, I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't itching. I wanted to be in a locker room. I wanted to be throwing the ball around, being on a team, being back in a quarterback room. Man, there's nothing more special than being in the quarterback room with those guys and the offense coordinator, quarterback coach. So it was definitely tough for me. Obviously there's a whole ego part of it too, where it's like, damn, none of these teams want me, none of these teams need me. It's all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks of the season happened. I'm like, I have to start, really thinking about, am I going to ever get a phone call again? Have I played my last snap of football? And, I really don't know what that looks like for me right now, but I've kind of learned to be very present with where I'm at and not try to think too much into the future or too much into the past, because it kind of eats me up a little bit. So I've just gotten very good at being present where my feet are at. And I've definitely had to lean on my friends and family, obviously with me just having all that availability and time. Like I was training and I was throwing and I kept myself busy, but you still kind of drive yourself crazy to a certain extent. So I was able to lean on to my family, my friends big time. But yeah, it's been a weird couple months, but now that the off season's kind of officially hit, obviously the Super Bowl is this weekend, but I have to start making some tough decisions. Am I going to hang in there for another year? Am I going to formally retire and move on with my life? Those are all conversations I need to start having with myself. So I'll keep you guys in the loop with what happens, but as of right now, I'm still going to give it a go.
So have you thought about obviously you have the UFL, the CFL. I mean, I play arena football. It's still professional football, so it's like, have you thought about any other leagues? Maybe,
to be quite honest with you, I have thought about it. Coming from the NFL, I feel like I've gotten a little sniff of that big league ball, and I kind of just want to keep doing that. So, there's also an aspect too. I'm 31 years old. I'm starting to feel a couple things in my body. I got some tendonitis kind of lingering a couple areas. So it's like, do I want to go play arena ball? Do I want to go play in the Canadian League? Maybe, but it's really kind of NFL or nothing for me right now. I feel like I put a really good career under my belt, 8 years in the league, 7.5, 8 years in the league. And, if it is over, I'm okay with it. I've had a wonderful career. I feel like in my mind, I'm proud of myself, but, I really am not looking to go play Canada or arena or even across the pond. A couple teams reached out to me from Germany and Poland. And I was
that had to feel nice.
Like the juice isn't necessarily worth the squeeze for me, just from a health standpoint. It's just such a violent sport, Zilla, as you know, and Liam. It's banging, man. Like you're putting your body on the line every day, and God bless the offensive lineman, man. It's a completely different sport than what quarterbacks play, but still being in the pocket and taking those shots as a low 30s, that's why it's remarkable what Aaron Rodgers is doing at 42 years old. It's all these guys are, the older you get, recovery slows down a little bit. So most likely, if it's not in the NFL, I'll probably end up moving on with my career.
Now, I know you had mentioned before you had garnered a little bit of interest from coaching staffs potentially coming on and being a coach, or I don't know, quarterback's coach or some coach in some regard. I know you really wanted to play and that was your main focus. Have you given any more thought at all of that too?
Yeah, I have. I've thought about coaching. Just the nature of the beast with the coaching is just time commitment.
I know there really is no off season when you're a coach.
There's really no off season. Players get 4 months off in the off season and they're able to go train and step away. Coaches are getting ready for the combine. I mean, they're doing self-scout stuff, which I probably would enjoy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think whenever my career is done formally, I will reach out to my contacts, and that's also the cool thing. The fact that I've bounced around a couple of teams, I've made some cool connections that I've reached out to and let them know that I'm interested in coaching whenever that day does come for me, and just kind of keeping those bridges in my relationship wheel. So whenever that day does come, I can hopefully transition into coaching. But, again, the big question in my life is, when is that going to be? Because a lot of hires are happening right now. And I don't know if I'm necessarily in a mental and emotional capacity to just be like, I'm going to hang him up and I'm going to get into coaching. I want to still see if there's anything left in the tank. Maybe see if I get a phone call. If not, maybe this time next year, transition into coaching. But again, I've kind of trained myself to try to be as present as I can be right now. I'm going to try to enjoy these next couple months, be around my family, be around my little nephew, maybe do some traveling, and cross those bridges as they come.
Sure. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Your time in Chicago, let me tell you.
Yeah. Short, I tried. Hey, I enjoyed my time in Chicago. It was one of those weird moments. I was on the practice squad for the Detroit Lions that year
Yeah.
in 2022, and I got a phone call on a Tuesday night from my agent, said, "Hey, the Bears just claimed you to the 53-man roster." So I'm in my house in Detroit. I'm like scrambling to pack, and I jump on a flight the next morning at the ass crack of dawn. I'm there the next day practicing. It was a cool quarterback room, man. Nathan Peterman, Justin Fields, and Trevor Simeon. And I think they brought me in because Trevor got hurt. So he was around, which I was able to get around those guys, which was really cool. And one of my old quarterback coaches for the Green Bay Packers was the offensive coordinator, Luke Getzey. So that's kind of, we had some rapport there. And it's been, it was a cool time in Chicago, man. My only gripe about Chicago is just the fact that the facility is so far away from the actual city.
Yeah.
You know, Lake Forest is a solid 45 to an hour north of the city. So it's like, it's the Chicago Bears, but the meat of our time when we're there is really up in Lake Forest, where there's really not a whole lot. It's gorgeous up there. It's a very nice area, but it's not necessarily in Chicago. So it was interesting to kind of catch the rhythm of the only time you're really in Chicago is when you have a home game for the at Soldier Field. So I enjoyed my time there, man. That was a cool quarterback room. One of my best friends, Lucas Patrick, to this day was on that team. He started the left guard for them.
Yeah,
I actually ended up staying with him. Yeah. I stayed at his house for those 10 weeks I was there, man. I shared Christmas with him and his family. I mean, it was such a unique year for me because there was so much up in the air. Like, my goodness. I mean, I was living in my friend's house. I wasn't going to see my family for Christmas and New Year's. But in hindsight, it ended up being a really cool year for me. Being in Chicago, being a member of the Bears, it really was cool.
Sure, man. Like I said, you look better in the orange and blue than that green and yellow stuff, man. But
yeah, man. Hey, yeah. I had a good time in Green Bay, and I'm assuming you're a Bears fan from what you're saying here. But I'll always cherish those days, man. Being in the NFC North, even with the Lions, man. That's just it's old school blue collar ball, man. Sure. It's cold weather, even though you're in Detroit inside. It's just. It's blue collar, hard nosed football, man, and I'm so grateful to have spent 5 years in that division.
Sure.
Yeah. Little story I have when Tim was in Chicago. I actually have the picture right next to me. I don't know why, but almost like every year I visit Tim wherever he's at and playing. He has me out, and Chicago's pretty local for me. So it was either New Year's Eve or day. I think you guys were playing in Minnesota at like a noon game, yep. And then. You guys flew home right after that, and we met up with you at I think it was that Hyde Park? What was that restaurant? I think it was Hyde Park.
The restaurant, yeah, yep. No doubt, it was Hyde Park.
And then my brother and I were playing ball with Tim at like midnight in the parking lot across the street, and I actually have this picture right here.
Thank goodness that parking lot was lit by those lights. We were able to toss the rock a little bit, man. But yeah, we were out there for a while, man. It was cold, but we had a great time in that little parking lot. I'm glad. That's a cool memory that I'll always cherish.
Oh yeah, that was really fun. That was a ton of fun. I got some videos from that. I love that time. I love that story.
Yeah, simple times, man. Simple times.
Now, you have been able to throw some passes, nonetheless, and touchdowns, more specifically, to a couple great wide receivers and linemen in your day. Out of your 5 touchdown passes or any throw in your career, what's the favorite pass of your career?
Probably 2023 New York Jets. Mm-hmm. We were playing the Atlanta Falcons, and I threw a couple nice passes. I threw a flea flicker. That game, which was pretty cool. It wasn't a great throw, but we completed it, which was fun. And then there was one throw that stands out when I was with the Lions. We were playing at Seattle, which is a crazy place to play an away game. But I threw Cordell Hodge. I threw a go ball to him, and he caught it like on the 1 yard line. It looked like he scored, but it was like a go ball in a game that I threw kind of a dime.
Boyle sets up, goes deep. Oh, what a catch! Touchdown! Wow!
And that one stands out But I'll always remember my first touchdown pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like you said, man, I'm blessed to, and the touchdown passes I have thrown, it's Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's cool stuff. They're hell of receivers, man. It's hard to pick one, but like specific throws, think about a flea flicker is always fun. Throwing a go ball is always fun, and then obviously throwing your first touchdown pass was pretty special as well.
Dom, I don't know if you knew or not, but in Detroit, one of his touchdowns was actually to Dan Skipper, right? Or no, Taylor Decker. That's right. Sorry.
Yep.
Taylor Decker.
It was at Seattle. Yep. I threw a touchdown pass to Deck, and I think that was his second of his career, which is pretty cool. He's had a heck of a career there, man. He's made a lot of money. He's stayed healthy, and hopefully he's there for a while.
So whenever I caught my touchdown last season, Liam, that was the first play I thought of. So that's actually crazy you brought that up. Man, yeah. Shout out T-Deck, man.
Hey, I love when the big men catch some touchdown passes, man. I'm here for it. Trust me. When I'm calling plays one day, hopefully I can draw a couple up for the big man.
Let's do it, man. It's the greatest thing in the world, man. Nobody wants to see you skill guys do that. It's all right.
No doubt,
that's
baby.
normal, right?
No doubt.
The real athletes get the ball. That's when football is fun,
I couldn't agree more, man. Hell yeah.
Awesome. Now, if we're getting, I know you've been in Ireland a little bit recently, I know, so I'm not sure how much you've been keeping up with the playoffs and stuff. I'm sure still a little bit.
I've been keeping my eye on it.
Okay. What's been your take on it so far as we get into the Seattle and New England?
Yeah, man. I mean,
Super Bowl
looks
here?
as if there's a changing of the guard a little bit. There's some teams that we're used to seeing in the playoffs that weren't there. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. Chiefs obviously stand out, but Bengals I think are going to be back there. Just a couple teams that slid into the playoffs this year that were kind of it was fun to watch them play. It was nice to see the Jaguars play well this year.
Yeah.
Always really cool to see, Josh Allen ball. I mean, I like Josh Allen. He's in my draft class, and I want to go see him win it because, he's a hell of a quarterback. And honestly, a big one was the Lions. A hell of a team the past couple of years, and all of a sudden, they're kind of on the cusp, and they lose a couple late in the season, and they just missed the playoffs. But it was cool to watch these games, man. It really was. It was. I was rooting for CJ as well down in Houston. I know him pretty well, and I think they had a really good run, but man, I think the two best teams honestly are in the Super Bowl right now. It's 14-3 teams. It's hard to go 14-3 in the NFL, man. I remember going 13-3 back-to-back years in Green Bay, 2019, 2020, and I remember Aaron was playing lights out, and the defense was playing really well, and we stayed healthy. It's really hard to win that many games and not lose that many games. So I'm excited to watch the Super Bowl, man. We have a couple buddies over at the house on Sunday and watch it, but again, Sam Darnold, 2018 draft class guy. I'm super excited for him. I hope he's had such a cool little ride to get to the Super Bowl in his career. He's been a backup on a couple teams, and now he's in the Super Bowl. And then obviously being in New England, the vibe here is pretty high here for the Patriots. Just all the fans here are loving it.
You grew up a Patriots fan, right?
I grew up a Patriots fan. Yep, I grew up a Tom Brady fan. Yep. Really, I mean, I playing quarterback growing up as a young kid, watching Tom Brady win Super Bowls, I was like, hell yeah, this is really cool. And grew up a Patriots fan pretty much until college, and then once I entered the NFL, it kind of gets wet clean a little bit. It's like all of a sudden you're on the Green Bay Packers, and you realize that the Patriots are kind of now in your way of achieving your goal, which is a Super Bowl, right? So I think my fandom for the Patriots kind of went out the door when I entered the NFL, and
sure.
People always ask me, are you a fan of a team? And it's really hard to say yes. It's once you've played, I think the fandom kind of goes. I follow teams and I follow players, and I ultimately root for good football games. Because I love when the Browns beat the Steelers to keep them out of playoffs. Like a game the Steelers should have won, but the Browns won with Shadur. Yeah. Like good football games where players get opportunities to go out there and do their thing. That's what I root for now. So the playoffs this year, the season in general, it was kind of cool to see it from a different perspective. Being out of the league, I was able to watch a lot of games, and playoffs have been fun, and I'm excited for this game on Sunday.
There's definitely an exciting game, man. So, you talk about Sam Darnold, and I mean, I don't know if we were waiting to get into this, but I'll just ask the question: what does Sam Darnold need to do for Seattle to bring home a championship? What do you think you need?
I mean, that offense, they throw the rock now. And Sam's a gunslinger, and I've never really been around Sam and like been around him throwing the ball or been in a quarterback room with him, but I've had some overlap with guys who have been in the same room with him, and they say that his ball spins, man. So I think when you sign a Sam Darnold, like the Seahawks did, you want to toss the rock 30, 40 times a game, which I think their offense revolves around taking shots. So I think they need to run the rock well. Obviously, that's anyone needs to do that. You got to run the rock well, but I think they need to get their play action game. They need to complete some explosive plays down the field, which I think they've been doing all year. I think they have the most explosive plays in the NFL per game. I'm curious how the Patriots defend it. Vrabel's a hell of a defensive mind. I'm curious how are they going to put a shell over the defense and make them run the rock and make them check it down. That's what's so cool about the NFL and this 2-week gap between conference championships and Super Bowls. There's so much time to think about what you want to do and what the other team's good at and how you stop it. So, I mean, the cool part, I think back being around Jared Goff, when he played in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, they were expecting the Patriots to do what they've done all year, play five down, man coverage. And all of a sudden in the Super Bowl, they played 6 on the line. They played a little bit of zone behind it. They mixed in some men, and they didn't really game plan for it during those 2 weeks in the Super Bowl. So all of a sudden you're in the Super Bowl and you have to adjust on the fly, it's so cool. That's why I love the Super Bowl. From a schematic standpoint, there's just so much that goes into it. But to answer your question, that was kind of a long way of saying Sam needs to not turn the ball over. No, obviously that's a no crap statement. And I think he's got to try to find those shots down the field. He's got to find some explosive plays, and I think they can pull it off. I really do. I'm rooting for the Seahawks, just because Sam, being an 18 draft class guy, and me bouncing around a couple teams, being a backup, starting. Obviously not even close to the same career as Sam Darnold. He's had an incredible career, but talk about a guy who's drafted high. It didn't work out with the Jets, went to the Panthers as a backup, as a starter, got benched, and then went to the Niners and backed up, and went to the Vikings and had a resurgence. And now he's signed a good 3-year deal with Seattle, and then he's making the Super Bowl in the first year. It's really cool to see his trajectory of what's happened in his career, and all I can do is root for it. But I mean, on the other side, man, a second year Drake May, that's a slippery slope now too, man. It's a hell of a defense. He's been balling. I'm curious how the game's going to go, but I am rooting for Sam. I wouldn't even see Seattle. I'm rooting more for Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
the Seahawks have yet to turn the ball over in the playoffs, and the Patriots have turned it over 5 times in the last in the playoff run. They didn't turn over versus the Broncos, but. Yeah, which is interesting. Patriots turned the ball over quite a bit. Sam Darnold was kind of turning the ball over, a decent amount in the regular season, but he really cleaned it up. And with their style of play, I know they take some shots, but I was pretty surprised to see him kind of outduel Matthew Stafford in the passing game, at least in the championship game. I thought he was going to have a decent game, but he threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns as well alongside Matthew Stafford.
That was a really cool game to watch, man.
And I was surprised.
That was a cool game to watch. Both of them. That was elite quarterback play on both ends, which was really cool to watch as a quarterback. But as a fan too, it's like those are the games you want, right? A shootout late in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Quarterbacks are playing well, no turnovers. It was a clean football game and an exciting football game. But yeah, Sam. Ultimately, the cool part about this game too, man, it's one night. It doesn't matter if you turn the ball over 5 times in the playoffs. It is mano a mano, best man win. And that's why I'm so curious, because these are 2 really good football teams, and I think it's going to go back and forth because I think Vrabel is going to have a plan for them on defense, and I do think Seattle's defense does do a good enough job where they can hopefully put a stop to that explosive Patriots offense.
The Seahawks, 3 games they've lost have been by a combined 9 points this year, which is just incredible. And the Patriots are scoring 18 points a game in the playoffs, and the Seahawks have doubled that at 36. It's a 4.5 point favorite for the Seahawks, but what percent chance do you think the Patriots have of winning, roughly?
I would go 55 Seattle, 45
All right,
Patriots. I think it's gonna be a close game. I really do. I don't think this is one of those games where it's going to be a blowout like last year's Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a dogfight, hopefully. Obviously, this is all speculation and assumption, but
Sure.
I'm going to give the upper hand to Seattle. I think their offense is extremely explosive. But again, it's one game, and Mike Vrabel can game plan and try to take away their strengths, and all of a sudden they're looking at themselves like, all right, what are we going to do now? So I'm curious what's going to happen, but I'm going to give Seattle the edge at 55%.
Awesome. What do you think, Sam Wentz, right? What do you think this does to his legacy so far, his future?
Yeah, I honestly think it gives him a fresh start. You know, you got to think about his career where it's, you know, Jets, Panthers, Niners, Vikings, and then all of a sudden he finds his home, right? Whatever happened last year when he was with the Vikings, he balled out, right? I don't know if it was KOC, their head coach, the offense, whatever the case may be, but he found himself again, right? The confidence is back. He's stroking it well, dude. His ball's spinning. It looks good. And all of a sudden, Seattle signs him to a 3-year, $100 million deal. And when you get a deal like that, I've talked to a couple of guys who have signed stuff like that, man. It gives you a little bit of courage, a little bit of confidence. You know, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm the $100 million man. I got to go earn it. I got to go prove it. But it's also like, you know what? I'm worth that. That's what this team thinks I'm worth. But man, if he goes out and wins a Super Bowl, I mean, he's going to be in Seattle for as long as he wants. You know, he'll be in and he's a 2018 draft class guy, but I think he's only 28, 29. You know, he's still young. He's still got another 10 years if he wants to play. So you got to think he's got probably a front half of his career where it was kind of like moving around spots and success, but not, you know, what he wanted. And then all of a sudden, Seattle comes around. He wins a Super Bowl in his first year in Seattle. I mean, they're probably going to sign him to a crazy extension. You know, he'll always be the quarterback that's won a Super Bowl, man. I mean, it's only one guy gets to do it.
Yep.
Aaron only got to do it once. I mean, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So it's a fresh start for him in his career, hopefully, where he can be in Seattle for as long as he can and hopefully win a couple more.
Drew Brees did it too, by the way, Liam.
We were I was going to bring it up. I was like, nah, I won't. It's not going to be fair because he played with Aaron. But you want to go there, that's fine. When we were talking about the NFC Championship game, we were arguing it a bit about, and a good off-season video for us we're going to be doing is who's better all time, Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees, and we differ on that.
I mean, yeah, you're a little bit biased, Liam, fair to say, being a Green Bay Packer fan. I will say the similarities are close, but and obviously I was around Aaron. I've never been around Drew. I think Drew's numbers are better, fair to say.
Yeah, they're better.
Drew's numbers are better, but I think passing the football, like a thrower of the football, Aaron beats Drew Brees. You know, Drew, in the quarterback room, we have a saying. It's called DTA. Decision making, timing, and accuracy. Drew Brees is the A+ of all those. His decision making, his timing on when he throws it, and his accuracy, A+, A+, A+. Aaron is a completely different player. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's not A+, but I think Drew played the game of quarterback better, and his numbers reflect it. I think Aaron's playing style also reflects his success and his numbers and his Super Bowl. So it's hard to compare those careers. It really is. And I'm going to sit right on the fence there because Drew Brees is one of the all-time greats, Hall of Famer, and so is Aaron. But when I will say this, when it comes to throwing the football, like if you were to watch Aaron throw a football and Drew Brees throw a football, you'd be like, oh God, Aaron's a freak of nature. You know, it's one of those talent things that Aaron has that I don't think necessarily Drew has. You know, obviously he's very talented, but I think just Drew played the position of quarterback a little bit cleaner and a little bit more organized and on time than Aaron ended up doing.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
That's my politically correct answer.
Yeah. I like it. Now, who do you think, talking about Sam Darnold and everything, who do you think potentially could be the next Sam Darnold? Couple names thrown around, possibly Malik Willis, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. I'm sure a number of other guys.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, okay.
Are you talking about from like a backup back into a starting role type quarterback? If I had to say, it'd be C.J. Stroud, Herbert, I think Herbert's going to be Herbert's not 6'6", 240 now. Like he runs like the wind. I mean, he's a special player and he can throw the piss out of it. So if they can find the right team and they can go all the way, I mean, I think Justin Herbert might go win one himself. And I do think, hopefully, I would love to go see those two Florida teams, try to, the Buccaneers and the Jags. I'm curious if Baker's got that mafia to him, as you guys know. He's got that. I'm curious if he can go win one. That's one of those careers, just like Sam, where it's kind of bounced around. Been a backup. All of a sudden, Baker Mayfield wins a Super Bowl, and all of a sudden, he's cemented himself as one of those dudes. And I do think Trevor Lawrence, I think, is going to be a good quarterback for a while too. And these are all younger quarterbacks who are going to be around for a while. So, am I going to put Malik Willis and Mac Jones in the same category as Sam Darnold right now? It's hard for. Am I rooting for him? Do I want them to? Do I want them to go find a starting job somewhere and go ball out? Justin Fields, same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just hard for me to do that right now because I think a Justin Herbert, a C.J. Stroud, a Baker Mayfield, they have more pieces around them right now. They've been solidified starting quarterbacks where they can go win one hopefully within the next couple of years.
Yeah, Baker's my vote. I'm not gonna lie, I got Baker Mayfield winning the Super Bowl within the next few years.
Baker's got that dog in him, man. I love watching him play. I love watching his team play for him. You can tell they want to ride for him.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what's gonna happen, man. There's a lot of really good young quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So it's I'm curious what's gonna happen here.
Sure. Yeah. And Otis Bryce Young for me, so.
Bryce, yeah. He brought his team to the freaking Super Bowl. I mean, the playoffs this year, it's badass, man. Badass.
Yeah.
Who are some of your, not necessarily guys you played with, because those are obvious answers, but who are some guys that you really enjoy watching play? Quarterback position, and then maybe in general, too.
Yeah. I gotta say Aaron still. I think Aaron's still fun to watch play. I gotta say Josh Allen. I had a fun time watching Daniel Jones play this year. I was with him briefly last year with the Giants, so I got to get to know him a little bit, and then watching his season, how he brought his team, to 8 wins, I think, before he got injured, and I'll always root for Daniel Jones.
They had him playing at the end of New York. They had him playing scout team safety, so yeah, we're awesome to see him balling out on the Colts now.
So I was there that week, and
okay.
They didn't make him. They didn't make him play scout team safety. He knew that he was benched, and he wanted to be a good teammate and be out there and help his team with a look. So I think the New York media, just like Chicago media at times, they can be a little brutal and they don't get the whole picture necessarily. Gotcha. And all of a sudden it's a story that fans take and run with. But Daniel did not have to play scout team safety. He could have been standing right next to me, watching the offense go during a walkthrough, but he decided to go out there and give his team a look. And I think that's a selfless thing that he did.
Yeah, see, way to clear the air there.
No doubt. And honestly, it's hard for people to look, or the fans or the media to look at that situation without being like, back to scout team safety. They don't get the whole picture.
Sure.
But
that's the media.
It's the media, man, and that's where, like, as a fan, the people outside of the building, you kind of have to take everything you hear with a grain of salt. You really do, because you don't get the full picture. As you're in a locker room, man. Like, there's so much stuff that goes on that no one gets the full picture to. So,
sure.
I'm curious what's going to happen with Kyler Murray. He's always a good player, but he's done in Arizona, and I'm curious if is that a Jets? Do a Jets go get him? I'm curious what happens with him. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with Jackson Dart. I think he's had a really cool rookie season. Bo, when he gets healthy, Scatterboo, I think that's going to be a cool backfield for New York, and hopefully they can get things turned around in a city that needs a winning team. And then defensively, man, I think it's really cool watching Micah keep playing, Parsons, and then Christian Gonzalez. So fun fact here, David Blau, I'm going to pull that name out of thin air here. David Blau was a fellow quarterback of mine with the Detroit Lions.
Yep.
Started a couple games for Detroit
He's coaching now, right?
Since leaving the NFL, he was the assistant quarterback coach for the Commanders, and then the quarterback coach for the Commanders, and then they just promoted him to the offensive coordinator job for the Commanders. His wife is Melissa Gonzalez, who ran in the Olympics a couple of years back, and her brother is Christian Gonzalez. So David Blau and Christian Gonzalez are, in fact, brother-in-laws, which is pretty cool. So I root for him. I think he's one of the best corners in the league. He's young. He's been doing it well for a while. He's a big dude too. He's tall. He's lanky. He can run. He's got really good ball skills. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on Christian Gonzalez for a while too.
That's cool. I know the story when you were playing with him and his wife being the Olympian, but I didn't know that Christian Gonzalez was her brother. That's even cooler.
Brother-in-law with David Blau. Yeah, pretty cool.
All right, let's talk about the big guys now. Who are your favorite offensive linemen to play with?
Yeah, Liam already said one. Dan Skipper, he just retired. But my goodness, you want to talk about a crazy career. That dude's been on probably more teams than myself and just keeps showing up and keeps working. Dude is like 6'14". I mean, he's incredible. His wife is wonderful. He got twin baby boys who I got really close with. He's the essence of what an offensive lineman should be, man. It's selfless. It revolves around protection, and he was a student of the game. He wanted to learn, and I think Detroit was a great fit for him. But I also got to throw out Penei Sewell, dude, dog. Penei Sewell. If I was getting into like a street fight with someone, and I had one person to choose, I'd choose Penei Sewell. His mindset, he's just nasty. And honestly, as a quarterback, I've gotten an understanding of what offensive linemen are. They're sweethearts off the field, kind. That they joke, they're big guys. They're fun but like on the field, they're just mean, dude. They're mean. They don't take crap from anyone. Like that's why I like Trent. Trent with the 49ers. He's a dog. He's a freaking dog. And I think Penei's the same way. He's super young. I've watched Penei Sewell at 335 pounds run almost as fast as me, and I was 225 pounds at the time. It's just he's a freak of nature athletically. He'll be in Detroit for as long as he wants to be. You just got to stay healthy, knock on wood. Left tackle for the Packers back in the day, one of my favorites. Go ahead, Liam.
David Bakhtiari.
David Bakhtiari will always stand out. He was a close friend of mine as well. Him and I stay in touch. Center, Corey Linsley, I think was wonderful. Him and his wife are lovely people. He's since then retired from the NFL. But Lucas Patrick, I got to give a shout out to Lucas Patrick, obviously one of my good buddies, and he's played in the league for 10 plus years now. There's so many. GVR, Ben Rotten from the Giants, he's one of those old stingy vets, kind of, just not a lot of smiles on his face, but on game day he just freaking goes out and he plays his tail off, and it's fun to watch these guys play, man. Offensive line is such a different sport than what quarterbacks do, man. Just the mental aspect, obviously, on understanding fronts and linebacker positions and trying to get to the next level, but the physical toll it takes to try to move people who are just penetrating gaps, and it's just such a cool position, offensive line, and hopefully one day when I do get into coaching, I would like to spend some time learning that position more, just understanding the ins and outs. I can make calls for offensive linemen, I can make protection calls, run calls, but truly understanding like the mechanics and the technique that goes into it, I would love to sink my teeth into more. But hey, if you want to get me talking about big guys, dude, I'll keep going. Offensive linemen are our quarterback's best friend, man. That's our lifeblood. I can't throw to an Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Garrett Wilson without 5 dudes up front who can get the job done. So I try to stay as close to those guys as possible. Take them golfing in the off season and break some bread with them during the week. Feed them, make sure they're feeling good, and hopefully it's reciprocated on a game day, which most of the time it is.
Sure, for sure.
That's interesting. I know you've been somewhat of a golfer a bit. Whether it's lineman or in general, who's the best golfer you've played with that's also played, or coach, or someone?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Anyone stand out to you?
Yeah, That's a really good question. Dan Skipper, for being 6'10", is a really good golfer. His clubs are freaking a light pole looking thing, but it's he's really good. Offensive linemen who have good golf games. I'd say Dan Skipper sticks out. Dave Bakhtiari, been out with him a bunch. He was getting into it at the time, and he wasn't great, but he had a good swing on him. Brian Balaga, back in the day with the Packers, had a really good swing.
Fun fact,
man, but I gotta say, it is so sweet watching a big man swing a golf club, dude, and like flush it, because these guys are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", not all the time. You got a couple guys 6'3", 6'4", but like. And they're just like flushing the ball. It's so cool to watch them like swing a club. It really is. But yeah, in my off seasons, like OTAs, summertime, it's try to go golfing at least 2-3 times a week.
Sure.
And fun fact, I also went to the same high school as Brian Balaga. So.
Did you really?
That's cool.
I did not know that.
When I met him, when I met you guys for the Make-A-Wish, I showed him, and I think I had him sign my school ID. So.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Brian's a good dude. Brian's a really good dude.
Yeah, man. We're talking about big guys still, man. Obviously, I'm gonna talk about the big guys. So, what was because I'm trying to get to that level, right? Like that's still the dream. So, what was their everyday work ethic like? Like, what did they do differently than everybody else? While at that level.
Yeah, I think the big thing offensive linemen have to do, man, like they got to take care of their bodies. It's just such a physical sport for them, and making sure they're in the training room. Like, for me, if I get hit a couple times a game, I can bounce back from that quickly. These guys, as you know, it's every play there is another guy attacking you, like face to face, like bumping heads, dude, like nicks and bruises and stuff, bone bruises. Just making sure they're doing the right thing in the training room. But I think that the coolest part about the offensive linemen in the NFL, man, they're all smart. And you have to be. An offensive lineman, everyone thinks they're big dumb rocks. Like, absolutely not. Like, these guys understand, like yourself, like you understand run game, outside zone, inside zone, stretch. You need to understand gap scheme runs, freaking downhill power. And then I'll talk about play action pass and then screens, and not to consider, 3rd down and 10 where that defensive end is pinning his ears back to come get the quarterback, and you're on the man side of the protection, and you got to lock this dude up. Like, it's such a cool group of guys, offensive linemen, because they're so smart, and they have to be to understand the schematics of what's going on. But I'd say the biggest difference is definitely the physical component of just them taking care of their bodies, because every week it's a grind to get your body try to get it back to 100% before Sunday, and then just their willingness to sink their teeth into the game plan, because it's not like they're just running the same plays over and over every week. Offenses in the NFL, you're changing run schemes every week, you're changing protections every week, you're doing things based off of Myles Garrett's on this side, we're sliding to him the whole time, and what if he's on the right side the whole time? The left tackle is isolated on another really good player, so you're asking a lot of these guys, and they all are willing to step up and do it, which is the coolest part.
Appreciate that.
Dominic here last week on the podcast, he was announcing that he just signed with a new team in the Arena Football League, but also he actually, which was cool,
congratulations,
to send you it, he actually signed his contract on the podcast too. And
sweet.
Yeah, announced he was
man.
going
Cool.
and signed it.
Sure, man. Like I said, man, Liam's a part of the process now, man. So like you said, whenever I do make it to the big leagues, man, whenever that happens, Liam knows he's coming with me, man, because, like you said, this man's a brother now. So I definitely wanted him to enjoy that before, I officially announced it to the world. So that was actually pretty dope for him to be a part of. So
yeah. Cool, man. Hey, one foot in front of the other. Rome wasn't built overnight. Just freaking take care of your business, and if you're good enough, as you know, they're going to find you. Just put good film out there, be a good teammate, do your thing on the field, and it'll come to you.
Sure, appreciate that.
And Tim, I know, you'd asked me if I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to retire when Tomlin stepped down or got fired. I think he stepped down. And
Shut down.
I thought that was funny. I was like, I'm not really sure. I was like, bro, I think you'd know more than me. I was like, I don't know, but and then since then also, Mike McCarthy's come on now, so that maybe changes things a little bit.
That is the biggest question mark in the game right now. If Aaron stays with the Steelers with Mike being there, I think it'd be a cool reunion. I know Aaron really likes Pittsburgh. I think, obviously, Mike being from Pittsburgh is going to be there for a while, hopefully. He's got to win some games, obviously, but
sure.
Mike can be there for a while. That's the biggest question mark. I've had a couple conversations with Aaron. It's brief, but I also don't want to press him. I don't want to be, hey, are you going to stay in the NFL? Are you going to stay with the Steelers? Most of the time with him, I just ask him how he's doing because I know he's got a lot going on in his life.
Yeah.
Obviously, new wife. Big decisions coming up.
Yeah.
It's like,
and
I just want to be a good friend.
And you brought it up there too. I'm sure you haven't seen it, and probably lucky you. I've been seeing a rumor going around on Instagram the last month or so. I'm sure it's not real, but there's been a lot of people posting about it that Aaron Rodgers is like married to an AI chatbot and is not actually married. Can you just say quickly here that he is married to a real woman?
I believe Aaron's married to a real woman. Knowing Aaron, he's a very intentional person. I do know that he's a private person, as you know as well.
Yeah.
And I know that I think he's enjoyed keeping his relationship, his marriage private.
Of course.
It is interesting how they've been able to keep it as private as they have, but I do think it's because of Aaron's wishes of trying to keep his life as private as possible. But he is married, to my knowledge, to a real woman.
Yeah, thank you. I kept seeing a bunch of that, and I was like, oh my god, man.
No, I mean, people will take anything and run with it. As that's the internet's way of kind of making a situation more funny. But when you think about Aaron's life, I mean, he's always been looking for a good lover, and I'm glad he found one.
And how does it feel and being out of football this past fall and just reflecting back on it a lot? How does it make you feel being, I would say, one of Aaron's favorite teammates that he's played with?
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool. Being able to spend 4 years with that dude has really opened my eyes on, how he got there. What makes him great. Obviously his preparation, but also his skill level. But the cool part about Aaron, that I'll really take forever is just him challenging me to be a free thinker. He's raised a couple things in my, a couple questions in my life of, why do you believe that? Is it because you were taught it as a kid in a textbook, or because, you were born in, a Catholic, family in the Northeast? You have to think about why you have certain beliefs and how those beliefs play into your life, and those beliefs ultimately, help make decisions when it comes either good decisions or bad decisions. So Aaron really challenged me to just be able to look at something, not necessarily judge it, and just be like, is this true? Is it not true? Does it, do I resonate with it? I think one of the first things he brought up was like the moon landing. It's like, do you believe in the moon landing? I'm like, well, yeah, like I think we went to the moon, and all of a sudden he like listed off all these facts, right? And not in like a conspiracy theorist way, but it's like,
sure.
Like, do your research, have your own opinion on things. You don't need to just go with the masses on what you're thinking, what they're thinking, So I'll always be thankful for him for pushing me to just be a free thinker. I'll always have my own opinion on things, thankfully.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, reflecting on my past 7.5, 8 years has been really cool. I always thought I'd be an NFL quarterback. I always thought about it in my mind as a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a great college career. I didn't think it was going to be in the cards, and all of a sudden the Packers give me a chance. I make the 53-man roster, and I'm like, oh, I can do this. All of a sudden I'm a 7-year vet. I'm like, my goodness, man, I've really, had some fun doing this, and I've met some really cool people. I've been able to experience some really cool things on the field, win some cool games, and whenever that day is upon me, I'll be able to truly reflect and feel really good about it. But I to be honest with you guys, I really haven't thought about it much of like the reflection aspect of my career and football, and a part of me doesn't want to think about it because it might get me emotional, obviously, as it should. It means that much to me, and But again, like I said, I can cross that bridge when I get there. But having Aaron in my career definitely extended my career. If I wasn't around Aaron, man, I've probably been probably one or 2 years and out. And he definitely taught me a lot of things about life, the game, quarterback, and I'm glad we're in each other's lives as well. He's a great mentor, role model, and yeah, it's been good.
It's awesome, man. Now, before the meeting ends here soon, we'll get to our specific Super Bowl score predictions here. Who wants to go first? I should probably save mine for the end because mine's probably different.
Zilla, I nominate you. Go.
All right. Obviously we have Seattle. Well, I have Seattle winning. The score, because again, this Seahawks defense, man, I don't know.
I know.
The pass rush itself, I should say, right? Going up against a young left side of an offensive line in the Patriots, right? You got Will Campbell over there. You got what's the other guy? I think Shaq Mason or something. I don't know. Mason, I think his last name, something like that.
Yeah.
But they're young, and it's like, I don't know, man. If you let D-Law and Leonard Williams on the same side, on that side at least, I just don't know. But score-wise, we got it's going to be a high-scoring game. I got 41-27 Seattle.
41-37?
27.
27. Okay, not even close. Not a close contest.
Yeah, I say they closed it in the fourth quarter.
Okay, good to know. I like this. I like this a lot.
Yep.
I'm going to say Seahawks 31, Patriots 24. I think the Patriots will have an opportunity to go down late in the game, down 7 to tie it, and Seattle will make a stand. But I do think Seattle will win by more than 3 points, and that's what I'm going to go with, 31-24.
Okay. I think we all definitely, with mine too, we all have high-scoring games. The over-under is only at 45, so mid-40s. I want to say Seahawks, but I just have this suspicion that New England's going to get it done. I don't know why. I think
Really?
I'm going 26-24 New England.
26-24.
I think it ends on a field goal.
Hey, we'll see. The fun part is we'll reconvene and we'll chat about it and we'll see what happens.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's all we can do is talk about it till it actually happens. So,
Absolutely.
Man, Liam, I'm not gonna lie, your score surprises me.
Yeah?
Your score surprises me the most, simply because I don't know, man. That score just it tells me you're. I don't want to say you're downplaying Seattle's defense, but you're forgetting about Seattle's defense, right? Like,
You have them scoring 27?
but I don't have it that close.
Oh, okay.
It's also hard to score 26 points in an NFL game.
It is, I know. I was going to go 27, but I was like, you know what? I'm sure they might
I like
find
it.
a way
Hey,
to be
be different.
26.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah.
Just be you, be different. Rip 26-24. Let's see what happens.
Might have a new scoregami if that's 26-24, if that's a one there. I think,
I love
my reasoning is the Patriots have won all these games that in the playoffs, and they've won the games they're supposed to, but they're not winning it in fashions that they're supposed to. Against the Chargers, the defense dominated, but if they do what they normally do, then they probably lose that game. And against the Texans, they had 3 turnovers. The Texans had 5 turnovers. C.J. Stroud probably played the worst game since middle school that he's played in. If he doesn't do that, they probably lose that game. And then arguably, they maybe should have lost the Broncos game if Sean Payton kicks a field goal earlier in the game. You just never know. They're winning all these games by close, and I just think they're gonna have a really good, probably clean game, and they're gonna shock the world. That's my prediction.
All right. But does anyone know the weather for San Francisco this Sunday at 2:30? I think it's kickoff for them.
Dom, you got that? You already on that? Get the weather.
Sunday weather in San Fran.
Assume it's going to be a little brisk, but
mid-50s. Yeah, it's going to be mid-50s, I think.
Yep, it's going to a high of 61.
As long as it ain't that windy, I would expect the scoring to be pretty good. If it's high winds, maybe who knows. But other than that, I can't imagine anything crazy.
3, and then by 2, it's going to be the high of 61. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
What about wind? Talk to me about wind.
Yeah.
Affects the kicking and passing game.
Oh, yeah.
2 to 8 miles per hour.
Okay, so
that's easy.
Yeah.
Goes up to 15 miles per hour.
So it's gonna be a clean football game.
Clean football game, probably some good scoring.
We like to see.
Yeah, man, spot the ball, run the ball. Let's do it.
Amen, baby.
Who do you think? Do you think Sam Darnold wins MVP? If you got the Seahawks winning?
I think if he plays the game, I think he's gonna play. I think he'll end up winning the MVP. I mean, maybe if what's his name?
Jackson and Jigba?
Yeah, if he catches 2 or 3 of them, they might give it to him. But I do think, if you're still catching 2 or 3, someone's throwing 2 or 3.
That's true.
Most of the time, the quarterback gets it.
That's true.
So I do think whichever quarterback wins will probably win the MVP.
I got Cooper Kupp.
There you go. I like that. That's a hot take, but I like it.
He's got one before, right? Didn't he get the?
He's got one before. Yeah, he's MVP.
I think Christian Gonzalez is gonna cloud Jackson, so he's gonna follow him. He's not gonna take away Jackson necessarily.
Yeah, hey, Coop might have a game, no doubt. I like it. Hey, that's well thought out.
Yeah.
Then I got Drake May winning mine, and
beautiful.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. Gonna be fun.
Yeah, sounds good, dude.
And we're good.
Tim, appreciate you.
Thanks so much for being on here, bro.
All love, boys. I appreciate you guys. You're on a tight ship. Thanks for being prepared, first and foremost. I've been on a couple of these where they're just like plugging deer in headlights. I appreciate you guys having good questions, being engaging. And
yes, sir.
Whenever you guys want me back on, you let me know, all right?
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it always. Thank you, Dom.
You have a good one, man.